Hi guys, welcome back for my third part to my Final Fantasy Opus II set review and discussion, set preview and discussion technically. So let's get started. First of all, a big shout out to the guys who posted the German images of the German cards that were previewed up, and big thanks to the guys who big thanks to the guys who posted up translations. They were big help and they allowed me to be able to do this video here. So big shout out to those guys. I'll put a link down in the description for those guys to the original link to their work. So definitely a big thank you to those guys. But let's get started. So the third element of the set is wind. First card, and this is a very exciting card actually. So Assura, 1 cost summon, choose 1 to 3 following actions. Choose up to 2 forwards, activate them. Choose up to 5 backups, activate them. Or choose 1 forward in your break zone of cost 2 or less and add it to your hand. This card, I love this card. Okay, so on paper, not powerful in the sense that it doesn't affect your opponent's cards. It doesn't have any power behind it, but it's an enabler in that it allows you to activate 2 backups. So if you have cards that specifically combo or need to use their double abilities, or you need to be a block, or you're getting around cards that have doubled them, it's got that option. You've also got the ability to just straight up get effectively for CP gain. You know, like you can use your fifth backup to tap it, cast this guy, reactivate all of them. You know, so it's like effectively 4 CP. You know, so that's strong. Also, like the fact that you can use it to reactivate backups means that certain backups that have S abilities, that have tap abilities, that have dull abilities, you can reactivate them and then reuse them again. So this can combo well into that, and also it's got a third ability, which is choose a forward in your break zone, of course, 2 or less added to your hand. Not a lot of great options in wind right now, I don't feel. But that being said, though, you get to choose a 2-cost backup from any color. So like whatever you splash wind into, it's going to be it's going to give you options. You know, like being able to return a Seraphy, being able to return a huge number of dudes is it's super good. So yeah, even like just picking up a dude for an S ability is relevant. You know, like using it to, let's say, pick up a 2-cost deleter so you can like reactivate your 3-cost deleter to break through a guy. You know, this card is extremely versatile, and at 1 cost, I think that it's undercosted. You know, like at 1 cost, any one of those abilities at 1 cost would have been fine, but its value really comes from the fact that for 1 cost you get to choose any one of the 3 abilities, and that's what makes this card extremely good. I love it. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to be free up in every win deck, because obviously you want a deck that can at least take like real good advantage of 2 of those effects. But just like the options that it brings, and the little combo fiend in my mind is just loving the potential of this card. So I love this card. It will see competitive. I feel it will see competitive play in certain sort of combo sort of decks, but like I think this card's like very powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if it sees like competitive play in the tier 1.5 deck. Next card is 2 cost. It's Arc. So Arc, it's 2 cost backup, Warrior Light. Standard unit forward you control gain plus 1,000 power. So seems pretty standard, just basically 1,000 power to all standard unit characters. Don't really have to chuck it into a Warrior Light deck. You know, like if you're like just playing draft, you know, or playing sealed. This 2-cost backup comes in and makes standard units like a little bit extra powerful. So obviously more relevant in the Ninja deck, and obviously more relevant in the Warrior of Light deck. But yeah, can't complain. It's good if you're running those cards, and it's instant include. Next card, and this is the first Wind Legend, and I'm loving the potential of this card, even though on paper it doesn't seem like super duper strong. So it's Van. For 4 costs, it's 8,000 power, so that's standard. When Van attacks, choose 1 forward you control. You may return 1 backup of cost 2 or less you control to its owner's hand. If you do, activate that forward. So to clarify, when Van attacks, you can choose a forward. You can choose a forward you control, and you can return a backup you control cost 2 or less from your field to your hand in order to activate that forward. So in a way, yes, you can give Van Brave in the sense that he can attack, and then you can bounce back up to reactivate him, or you can do it to someone else on your field. yes, that's relevant, but at the same time, you get to put 2 cost backups back to your hand. And in this set, there's actually a lot of really good 2 cost backups that you want to be able to recur. Um, right now, there's not many ways to be able to recur backups in the game. So pretty much the only one is 4 cost Riku that puts any number of your backups back to your hand. Um, this Van, I think, is going to see like quite a lot of pay. I want to build this deck. I'm super interested. Obviously, it comes down to what 2 cost backup you put back into your hand. So I was theory crafting it. Wind doesn't have a lot of like super cool 2 cost backups that you really want to combine this with, but I can think of two cards in this set immediately that you would really want to do it with. So one is was it Sage? I think it might have been Sage. The 2 cost backup, 2 cost backup in fire that gives a guy a haste. So you think about it you can just if you're willing to replay that backup every turn, you can constantly just haste a guy, right? You can just like an attack, put Sage back in your hand, replay it down, and then like just give another guy haste next turn. Or alternatively, the other one I was thinking of is lightning backup 2 cost Black Mage. When it comes into play, gives a guy minus 4,000 power. Just being able to recur that, like it's effectively like in effect it's like a 4,000 power nuke, right? So yeah. Attacking, you can put so you can play Black Mage down, deal 4,000 minus 4,000 to your opponent's guy. Let's say Van attacks, and let's say he goes through, or your opponent chump blocks it, and you put Black Mage back to your hand. You play it again in your second main phase, and let's say if you're aiming for the same 8,000 power target, all of a sudden they die. So this allows you to recur like some of those really good backups. Yeah. So I love this card. Also, on a side note, he's got an S ability, which is pay 1 win, activate all win characters you control. Obviously, a lot of really cool value, like the fact that you can like reactivate your win characters means that you can just like play on a lot of dudes. I would love to see like some win deck that just plays like stuff like, Bart, this guy, Pain, just like play like 4 dudes that cost like 4 or 5 and 3, just all in one turn, and like still have backups available. That would be super cool. Just being able to like rush a whole bunch of big dudes out. The ability's fine. I think like hardcore it will wreck like ice. Like hardcore wreck ice. Probably like it will wreck certain lightning decks that are like the dull tempo style. So I love this card. I think he's really cool. I'm going to build a deck around him. Not super strong like on pure stats alone, but like his combo potential is massive. Next card is Van again. It's a 1-cost forward. When Van enters the field or attacks, choose on backup you control, activate it. It's fine. Like it's kind of like the opposite to Snow. I wouldn't really play it because like attacking to get 1 backup, but like your opponent's gonna block it probably, so it's going to just end up dying unless you play some way to make sure he's unblockable. But yeah, so there's a couple of cards that can make him unblockable, but at this stage, like I wouldn't play him. 3,000 power, not particularly strong, and just getting 1 backup like reactivated is not super appealing to me. So I wouldn't play it. I don't think you'll see much play. 4 costs. Edge. Edge, 4-cost card. It's forward. It's a ninja, 8,000 power. So this is a card that I've been talking about when I was talking about all the ninja decks. So 8,000 power at 4 cost, standard already. Okay. Which is weird because typically ninjas usually have like lower power than what's typically on curve. So the fact that it's 8,000 for 4 is already good. So his ability is Job Ninja and cards with the name Ninja. Forward to control, other than Edge, get plus 1,000 in first strike. So notable ones are like older like standard unit ninjas, and Yuffie is one. And there's a couple others that I forget off the top of my head. But like having plus 1,000 first strike on already solid body, pretty good. Not sure if it's going to be like super competitive, but it's definitely going to be fun. Like imagine having like, say, I think it's like 3-cost Yuffie is normally 6,000 power, right? But imagine 3-cost Yuffie at 7,000 power, first strike, and can't be blocked by 4 or higher. Like it will equalize and trade against like most free drops at 7,000 power. First strike him to death. Can't be blocked by big guys. Just even on the standard units, like standard units are like, yeah, even with the standard units would be pretty strong. You combine it with Warrior Light, and your ninjas are massive. I love this card. I think like I would play him. He's gonna be like definitely a fun card. Probably like tier 2, tier 1. Like 1.5 at most. But this will see play. I like the card. I like it thematically, and the artwork's pretty cool. Next card is Edge again. So it's a 2-cost forward ninja. Edge can't be blocked by a forward cost 4 or more. When Edge deals damage to your opponent, activate all backups you control. I don't think this guy will really see much play. 2 costs for free. He's like below the curve. You want something that's at least 5,000. Him can't be unable to be blocked by cost 4 or more. Not particularly amazing. Like if you're gonna play someone that you're trying to get through for damage, and can't be blocked by 4 or more, you would rather play Zidane. Because Zidane can't be targeted by stuff. This guy is just gonna get nuked by anything that like throws any sort of nuke damage. And yeah, while it does deal damage, you can activate all your backups. Do you really want to be in a situation where you're all tapped out, sending him in, hoping your opponent doesn't block him, and then like just in order to like untap all your backups? I don't think it's a good idea for you to like use up all your backups to play dudes, hope you attack with this guy, and hope you're fine. It just sets you up to get screwed pretty heavily. So I wouldn't play him. But yeah, next card, Can E Senna. So it's a 5-cost backup, and when it enters the field, choose a forward, cost 5 or more, break it. It's not an EX burst apparently. Okay, so it's basically Alexander on a 5-cost backup. I don't really think this I don't think this card's great. Like typically right now you're only seeing like decks run like double Alexander at most, just because there's not a lot of cards that cost 5 or more. I think with this new, when Opus II comes out, there's going to be significantly more cards that are costing 5 or more that are going to be played. So I think Alexander's going to see more play. I don't think this is going to really see play, because for when you want to get your backups in real quick, you don't want to be like sort of sitting back on like big backups for too long. You want to get like 5 backups straight away with win, and just being able to recur them and to tap and untap them. So I think Canny Center is like, you're holding back too much on a backup. 5-cost backup is really expensive, and you want to get backups in real quick. And like Alexander is like already more cost efficient. Plus like Alexander has like EX burst. So I like, if anything, I might go up to like say free Alexander, but I probably wouldn't run this card. Yeah. Next card is Ranger. 2-cost, win backup, standard unit. Dull, put Ranger into the break zone. Choose one backup of cost 1, break it. I don't think they'll see play. Don't think we'll see play. So like, as far as I'm aware right now, the only 1-cost backups are like evokers and summoners. So they're basically the 1-cost backups that come into play for 1 cost that have like no like value on them whatsoever. So first of all, on a purely economic scale, you are spending a 2-cost backup, and then you're dulling your backup and breaking it in order to break a 1-cost backup. Okay, so your opponent's 1-cost backup, they didn't have to discard to put it in. Okay, so it came in, and it costs 1 for them to put it in. Like, and your backup costs 2, so you're spending a 2-cost backup to deal with your opponent's 1-cost backup. And you have to dull it as well. So you're spending significantly more resources to deal with your opponent's 1-cost backup that only produces mana form, that doesn't do anything, that has no secondary abilities. So I think this card is like, it's going to almost never trigger off its ability. It's irrelevant. Do not touch it. Next card is Sid Polendina. 3-cost forward. Dull. Your opponent reveals their hand. I like this card. So, oh my god, it seems like all the win cards, they're like deceptively good in that like they don't do X amount of damage, or they don't have X like a way to get X thousand more power, but they have all these like really cool enabling abilities. So at 3-cost 7,000 power, it's standard. Okay, so it's already just like reasonable body, but at the same time being able to dull it to reveal your opponent's hand. This game is like one of those games where being able to know what your opponent has a huge significant advantage. Because there's a lot of summons and a lot of S abilities, and like if you know what your opponent has in hand and what they can respond with, you can play significantly better. So in the situation where, let's say, you got to sit there and like, let's say at the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent doesn't declare attacks and Sid doesn't block anything, right? Great, you just like whatever at the end of your opponent's turn or during your opponent's main phase, you just like dull Sid and look at your opponent's hand. Nothing lost. Like if you're not attacking with Sid and you're not blocking with Sid, nothing lost. You tap, you dull it. You look at your opponent's hand. You know what you're going into. So yeah, so you can like read around your opponent's combat tricks. You can read around your opponent's S tricks. Know what your opponent's summons are and all that. Just like from keeping a dude alive. So I think this card you're probably not going to see free of, like in competitive decks. I think that he's probably going to be one of those situations where it's like, if you're trying to squeeze in like a 48th or a 49th card, this card would probably go in. It's certainly a much better card for a more advanced player who can plan it out. I love this card. I love this card. I'll try to slot it into decks where I can. But yeah. Next card is White Mage, free cost standard unit. When White Mage enters the field, choose up to 2 win characters, activate them. I don't value this card particularly well. Don't value this card particularly highly. Yes, it can choose any 2 win characters from forwards or backups. But at free cost, free cost for backup, it's actually kind of expensive. So you want a lot of your backups to be 2 costs, so you can discard 1 card to get them in. If they're costing 3, you can't play them on your first turn. You have to double your first turn's backup and discard a card in order to play it. And so, like, you don't play this card early on, right? So, like, White Mage is irrelevant early on because you just don't have to win characters to get value out of them, and it also targets win characters as well. So there's a lot of ways to just like activate guys. Like Assura just activate forwards, activate backups. They don't have to be win. This is like specifically wind. It costs free, so it's like it costs a little bit too much in my opinion. And its effect is not game breaking enough. Plus, like there's a ton of good cards that like cost free. So like if you put a backup on turn 1, you can tap that backup on your second turn and then discard a card to play a free cost. But having this White Mage, they're both like your free cost forward and your free cost White Mage. They're both competing for that 1 backup. So in that regard, I don't think this will really see play because it doesn't have anything really impactful it does early on, and its effect is a little bit overcosted. So next card is Capricious Thief. It's a mannequin, 2-cost mannequin for 5,000 power, which is standard. It's not at 6,000, but like I think 6,000 is just like more. 6,000 is more above average type deal. So Capricious Thief cannot be blocked by a forward or cost 5 or more. So this is the first time we've actually seen a card that's like can't be blocked by a cost 5 or more, as opposed to say 3 or more or 4 or more. Capricious Thief cannot be chosen by opponent summons or abilities during your opponent's turn. So this is kind of like a budget Ghetto Zade, like can be blocked by 4, so it can still get wrecked. So it can still get wrecked by 4 costs. And it's still targetable during your turn. So a lot of time, if you're attacking this guy, your opponent will be trying to nuke it or kill it during your turn, right? So, if anything, it's probably a better blocker than attacker, because most of the time your opponent will have like 3 or 4 cost dudes on the field, and they'll be able to take this guy. It's probably a better blocker in that your opponent can't like dull him or tap him during their turn when they're trying to like get initiative. So it's probably a better blocker than attacker in my opinion. It's a mannequin, so I'll eventually get to like whatever that mannequin support card is, but I don't think this card will really see any play. I don't think it's good enough. And its abilities are pretty irrelevant. So next card, Chocobo. So another card to add to the Chocobo list. It's a standard unit, 1,000 power, it costs 1. It's just like a weenie dude. And it's so small. It's like 1,000 first strike. Forwards forming party with Chocobo gain first strike. So it follows the Chocobo theme of whatever its party attacking buffs. This is one of the few times where you're actually going to be able to have a whole team full of first strikers. I don't think this card will see play. Like you can probably play some interesting fun decks around it where you're just sending in like a whole bunch of chickens. At 1,000 power, anything will kill it. There's like your opponent will just unintentionally be able to kill it. There'll be times where your opponent just like has cards that just do random 2,000, 1,000 damages in random places. In general, like just completely irrelevant amounts of damage. But if you play this Chocobo, it's dead because your opponent's going to have some cards that are going to do some damage when they come in, and they're just going to choose Chocobo and blow it up for like they're not even intentional, just unintentionally kill the Chocobo because it's so weak and frail and fragile. it won't see play just because of that reason. Next card, Ninja, 1 cost, 3,000 power. Seems like 3,000 power is kind of like where you're supposed to be at a 1 cost card. So for 2 wind, Ninja, if Ninja deals damage to a forward this turn, double the damage instead. So this is very much like Warrior of Light, but it doesn't have the same limitation of that it has to hit a 4 cost or higher. This card by itself not particularly amazing. Even if you do double it, it goes up to 6,000. So at best, it's going to like trade into a 2-drop. It won't hit most 3-drops and definitely won't do anything to do higher than that. I don't believe, from the way that the effect is worded, it stacks. So 2 wind, if Ninja deals damage to 4, double the damage instead. I don't think it stacks, but it could stack. If it does stack, then this would be significantly more relevant. If it does stack, then all of a sudden, you can just like have your 1 cost Ninja for 4 like CP, just like deal 12k damage. I'm not sure if you can double it twice, then it will see more play. Especially if you're running the Ninja deck, the Ninja deck or the Warrior of Light deck, giving this guy first strike and just being able to double up like 4,000 or double up 5,000, which is like make her instantly win fights. It'll see play in those decks for sure, and yeah, it'll see play in those decks for sure. I'm really interested. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it like do its thing. Next card, No. So No is a part of that whole Moogle set of subset of cards. So it's a 2 cost backup, and for 2 win, dull, choose as many forwards as job Moogles you control, activate them. This card is not alright, so when I say not terrible, as in it's not bad, even if you don't have other Moogles, because at worst, like you can tap it, dull it, and then like at least activate 1 forward, it's significantly better than like say like the Fire Moogle that deals like 1,000 damage for free, So I don't know. There's so many ways that Wind can just like activate dudes that I don't think you have to jump through this many hoops to just activate dudes. I wouldn't play this guy. I'd rather just straight up run Barrel Eye. Just like straight up blow up your Barrel Eye and just like reactivate 2 dudes. It's already like it's cheaper. Yeah, it actually is cheaper when I think about it now. It's cheaper and it's like significantly easier to do to just Barrel Eye and activate 2 dudes than to go through all these hoops and like with Moogle and shit. So yeah, won't see play. Next card is Pain. So this is one of the cards I'm really looking forward to. Not like on paper not an amazing card, but just like it's going to be instant like 2 or 3 off in the Riku Yuna Pain card in the Riku Yuna Pain deck. So Pain 3 cost, 3,000 power, so significantly below where it should be for a 3 cost. But it's got EX burst, and when Pain enters the field, you may search for a Yuna or Riku added to your hand. So if you consider the fact that any card that you get that you put into your hand can be discarded for 2 CP, and if you discount that off of their cost, effectively this is a 1 cost Pain when you think about it, because it's gaining you 2 CP when you get a card, and a lot of cards are very similar to this. Like for example, Lightning Sage is a 4 cost, but it costs effectively 2 because you get 1 card back. So if you look at it in that way, you're basically paying like 1 CP for a 3,000 power Pain, and that searches you for a Yuna or a Riku. So in a way, it's a lot like Brother in that way. You might actually be possible to like just take out Brother and like put other wind backups onto your backup line instead of Brother. To play Pain, to play Riku Yuna Pain. This card's really good because it searches for Yuna, either for like both forward Yuna or backup Yuna. So if you want to go like the backup Yuna strategy, then this allows you to search for it. Like Brother doesn't search for a backup Yuna, so if you want to run backup Yuna, then you have no way to search for it. This card allows you to search for backup Yuna. It also allows you to choose which backup Yuna. So previously, like I was running triple 2 cost Yuna and a single 5 cost Yuna, but now I could probably go 2 and 2. So for a matchup score is more relevant, I'll just use this Pain and specifically search for the 5 cost Yuna for like say a Golbez or Emperor matchup. This card is going to instantly see 2 or 3 cards in Riku Yuna Pain. No reason not to play it. And the fact that you've got an extra Pain in deck means that if you are playing like big beater Riku, you don't have to worry about running out of Pains because you've got another 3 Pains now, So yeah, Definitely not a fighter compared to the other Pain, which is 7,000 power. It comes in for free, but this card's good. Just if you're playing Riku Una Pain, just it's instant free off. Okay, no arguments, straight up. So next card is Barbarosia. It's a free cost forward, elemental archfiend. I'm pretty sure. So 3,000 for 7,000 for free, standard power. It's got an S ability which is 2-win, dull it, deal damage to all forwards your opponent controls equal to your own power -1, -1,000. So it's the same as Moomba. So it just Moombas all your opponents dudes. Obviously in Win this is way more relevant because if you do this and then you activate Dancer, all your opponent's guys are dead. You know, because Dancer just spreads 1,000 across all your opponent's guys. So this plus Dancer means your opponent's dead. It's actually like you're probably not going to activate too often, except for in the Golbez deck where you can like recur these guys. This you'll actually see this effect like come into play more often. I think this card may possibly even see play outside of the Golbez deck. Actually, I think it's fine. I think it's going to be one of those cards that might like see play in other decks. Yeah, you know, just like it's a standard body, and you know, like sometimes it might have a like cool relevant power that will just like pull a game back into your favor. So next card is the second legendary for Win. It's Balthier. So Balthier, 4 cost Win forward, 8,000 power. So yeah, standard 4 for 8. So when a backup you control enters the field, activate Balthier. And you can double Balthier, choose a forward, deal it 2,000 damage. So obviously Van and Balthier like have synergy in that Van can allow you to recur backups, allows you to like put backups in your hand so you can replay them. It keeps some of your backup slots open, and then Balthier like it activates every time you put a backup in. So there's significant amount of synergy, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with him. So if you are running like say like the Firewind variant and you give him haste, you can actually give him haste and then allow him to do 2,000 damage. Also like there's a way that you can stack it up, and I'll have to do this in a separate video. There's a way that you can stack it up that will allow you to deal 2,000 damage and give him haste, and then 2,000 damage, and then allow him to reactivate and do his ability again. I'll explain that at some point, but like, yeah, this card's really good. If you like add it with say like, if you add it with something like say Black Mage, you can like do 2,000 damage, put Black Mage in for a -4,000 on a guy, and then you can like tap it again, to do another 2,000. That's 8,000 damage already. And then you attack with Van, you put the Black Mage back to your hand, and then you reactivate Balthier. Balthier can attack, you know? So like Balthier and Van have this really cool like synergy between the two. And like, as long as you have the 2 cost backup, you can do some really cool stuff with it. So I'm really interested to see how this deck builds up, and I'm really excited for it. It's got an S ability, Fires of War. It's S, 1 win. Balthier cannot be chosen by opponent's summons or abilities until the end of turn. Balthier gains first strike until end of turn. So this is fantastic. So it's basically got like a mini Aerith inside him. S and 1 win. So like 1 win is pretty easy, especially for win decks to have available. Yeah, first strike on 8,000 power on an 8,000 power dude is good, and just being untargetable is like solid. So yeah, they're both very good effects. Like all of those effects are very good. So this is like in my mind, I'm like fully trying to chase this card. I love it. Like I love what this card represents, and I want to play it more. So yeah, next card is Balthier for it's free cost forward. This case, free cost forward, 6,000 power. When it enters the field, you may search for a Fran to add to your hand. So at 6,000 power, it is like it is a low 3 or it's a high 2. All right. Now, if you do the discounting again, and consider the fact that you're getting cards, so it's really a 6,000 power for 1, right? So 6,000 power for 1 is like really good. So purely on stats, it's really good. And you search for Fran, and Fran is a support card for Balthier. So you can just run like 2 of this card and like use it to set up like for an early, like to find your Fran, get your Fran down. Then if he trades, he trades. You know, 6,000 power, like it's pretty solid already. And then like if you ever draw extra copies, you just use it for Balthier's S ability. You know, so I think this card will see play if you're running one Balthier, you're running the other Balthier. Yeah. So next card is Penelo. 2 cost win backup. 2 cost win backup. If all forwards you control are Sky Pirates or Pirates, they gain plus 1,000 power. This card I'm not a little bit iffy on because it means you really have to hard commit to the Sky Pirate type deck, and I'm not sure that there is enough Sky Pirates and Pirates to make it happen. So I think right now you've got like basically you got like Van and you got Balthier, and then like I think a lot of the other Sky Pirates are just pretty bad. Like you probably have to play like Layla. Like I say like Layla is probably one of the worst heroics in Opus One. Um, but yeah, like you wouldn't run Layla even if she's a Sky Pirate. Um, yeah. This it's hard to say because you really have to hard commit to it. I don't know if you can like get enough Sky Pirates to make it relevant. But yeah, who knows? Potentially, if you do commit to it, then it's a guaranteed in. But yeah, so I'm a little bit on the fence on this one for right now. Next card is Fran. So Fran is a card that Balthier searches for. It's a 2-cost backup. You can dull it. Choose one Balthier you control. It gains plus 1,000 until the end of turn. So yeah, so giving Balthier plus 1,000 is really good. The fact that you can reactivate backups really easily and win means you can like give Balthier plus 1,000 several times. And also Fran's got a secondary ability which is wind. Pay one wind and dull it. Choose one Balthier. It gains haste until the end of turn. So that's fantastic as well. You know, like being able to give your Balthier haste, so you can like come in and like deal 2,000 damage straight away, or be able to like come in and attack straight away. So that's really good support. Like the whole Van Balthier package, I think is really cool. And it's going to be like a really fun deck to play. It's hard to say. It's going to be tier 1.5. I'm not sure if it's good enough to be tier 1. But it's definitely going to be a fun tier 1.5 deck to play. Next card is Fallacious Wanderer. Fallacious? I think it's Fallacious because it's phallus. Fallacy, not phallus. Fallacious Wanderer. So it's a mannequin, 6,000 power for free, so it's a little bit below the curve. When Fallacious Wanderer enters the field, choose to win character control, activate them. I like, no. Like, yes, it effectively just costs 1 and it's cheap, but I don't know. There's so many cards that just reactivate win characters. Win just needs specifically one win backup that just kicks ass, you know? Like, win needs like the equivalent of Lulu. If win had Lulu, then they'd be set. Or like, if win had like, even something like Saz, you know, like 2-cost backup Saz, you know. If they had something like that, then Win would have something that they can just keep reactivating and doing cool shit with. At this stage, it just seems like you keep trying to reactivate shit and there's no point. So I don't know. I don't think this card will really see any play as efficient as it is, you know. So next card is Shenhazai, the Whisperer. It's a 1-cost summon, and each forward can only be blocked by a forward with a cost inferior or equal to its owner's turn. I think it's supposed to say with a cost equal or less. So basically, it gives everyone like, it makes everyone kind of like land. So each dude can only be blocked by a dude that costs like this itself and lower. Obviously, like this is significantly more relevant for say like a Firewind deck or some sort of like aggressive high tempo deck. In those sort of deck, this is like a no-brainer. 2 off, I'd say. Like if you have 3 dudes and they're all like, if you have 3 dudes and they're like low cost and stuff, you can just like set them all in. Obviously there's obviously some synergy with this in regards to a lot of fire cards now. A lot of fire cards preventing low costed forwards from blocking. So you know if you play a whole bunch of cheap like fire forwards and then you play this card, your opponent's low guys can't block and their high guys can't block as well. So you just like can leak through 3 or 4 attacks. So yeah, this will see play. Probably less play from Win, but we'll see more play in something like Fire, I think. Yeah. So next card is 2-cost Riku. It's a 2-cost backup. EX burst when Riku enters the field, activate all forwards you control. Not really gonna see play. Like there's 4 cost forward Riku, which is like probably one of the best forwards in the game, I feel. And then there's like 2-cost backup Albed Riku that allows you to mill your opponent. So you even play 1 or 2. This is just like not relevant enough. Doesn't like do enough for the field to be relevant. So it won't see play. except for if your opponent's really digging deep into the Riku Mill deck, it's just like an extra free cards that you can like mug with. But like other than that, I don't think it will really see play. And the final card for Wind is Redis, which is a Sky Pirate, 5 cost, 9,000 power. So Redis must attack at least once per turn if possible. And when Redis attacks, all other forwards you control gains 1,000 power until end of turn. So this card doesn't seem super amazing. I don't really know why he needs to have a drawback that says he must attack every turn if possible. I don't really know why he needs to have that drawback, because 5 for 9,000 is already like standard. And when he attacks all forwards you control, gain plus 1,000 till the end of the turn. Like there's cards that give you guys plus 1,000 power already, and it's not like a super big deal. So I like he might see play in like, oh shit, my chair's a little bit squeaky. He might see play in like the Sky Pirate deck just because you need more fucking Sky Pirates, but he's not as good as the other Sky Pirates. So he'll see play reluctantly in the Sky Pirate deck, but you don't feel good when you play him, in my opinion. So that concludes the win portion of our Opus II FF TCG preview and discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave some comments or feedback below, and I hope you guys enjoy the next one. Grand J out.